Hey everyone, and welcome back to Learn English Naturally. I'm your host, Emma.
And I'm Ethan. Today, we're tackling something almost every English learner struggles with: memorizing vocabulary. Or I should say, trying to memorize vocabulary and then forgetting it a few days later.
Oh yes, the famous write it in a notebook, read it 10 times, and it's gone problem. If you've ever tried to memorize 50 words in one sitting, only to remember maybe two of them, you're not alone.
I used to do that when I was learning Spanish. I had a list of random words: apple, to run, happiness, complicated, and I thought, if I repeat these enough, I'll be fluent. Spoiler alert, I wasn't.
That's because memorizing vocabulary like that is like trying to eat soup with a fork, technically possible, but painfully slow and not very effective.
Exactly. So today we're going to show you what to do instead, ways to learn vocabulary so it actually sticks in your brain and becomes part of your natural speaking.
And before we dive in, quick reminder, if you enjoy our episodes, hit that like button, leave us a comment with your favorite tip from today, and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes.
Alright, now let's talk about why traditional memorization fails. The first big reason? No context.
Yes. If you learn serendipity by itself, it's just a floating word. Your brain doesn't know when to use it. But if you learn it inside a sentence like, meeting my best friend was pure serendipity, suddenly you understand the feeling and situation for that word.
That's the magic of context. You're connecting the new word to real life, not just storing it as an isolated fact. And here's a tip. Whenever you learn a new word, create at least 2 personal sentences with it.
For example, if you learn the word reluctant, you could say, I was reluctant to speak in the meeting yesterday, and my dog is reluctant to take a bath. 2 completely different situations, same word.
The next reason memorizing fails is because it's passive. Reading a list or listening once is like seeing a stranger on the street. You'll forget them unless you interact.
So instead of just reading, you need to use the word actively. Speak it, write it, text it, even record yourself using it. The more your brain works with the word, the deeper it sticks.
I remember when I learned the word overwhelmed. I heard it in a movie, repeated it out loud, wrote it in my journal, and used it in a WhatsApp message to a friend the same day. And guess what? I still remember it years later.
That's because you met the word in real life, not just in a notebook. Which brings us to the third reason memorizing fails: zero emotional connection.
Oh yes, if you learn photosynthesis for a biology test, but you don't care about biology, that word is in and out. But if you learn nostalgia when you're looking at old childhood photos, you feel it, and that emotional hook keeps it in your mind.
So find emotional connections. When you learn thrilled, remember a time you were truly thrilled, like getting a surprise gift or achieving something big.
And here's another big shift. Instead of memorizing words, focus on learning chunks or phrases.
Oh, yes, because English is full of word combinations that always go together. For example, we don't just say strong rain, we say heavy rain.
Right? If you memorize heavy rain as one unit, you'll sound more natural and you won't need to think about grammar mid-sentence.
And it's not just with nouns. Phrases like, I'm looking forward to, or that reminds me of, are ready-made tools for conversations.
Another great way to replace memorization is immersion. Surround yourself with English so words naturally appear again and again.
For example, if you're learning the word generous, watch a YouTube video where someone is described as generous, hear in a podcast, read it in an article. Soon, it becomes part of your vocabulary without studying it.
Exactly. And you don't need to move to an English-speaking country for immersion. You can change your phone language to English, follow English-speaking creators, and talk to yourself in English while cooking dinner.
Speaking of talking to yourself, that's actually another powerful technique. When you narrate your day, you practice using the vocabulary in real time.
For example, I'm chopping vegetables. This is a cucumber. I'm feeling a bit sleepy. It sounds silly, but your brain starts connecting English words to actions immediately.
And here's something a lot of learners skip: review, but in a spaced way. Instead of reading your list every day, review the new words after 1 day, then 3 days, then a week.
That's spaced repetition. It's like visiting a new friend often enough so you don't forget their name, but not so often that you get tired of seeing them.
You know, Ethan, I think another problem is that people often try to learn difficult words before they've mastered the common ones they'll actually use every day.
That's so true. I had a student who could say meticulous and phenomenal, but didn't know how to use by the way or I guess. Those small, everyday words are way more useful at first.
Exactly. Start with the words you'll say 10 times a day, not the ones you might say once a year. It's like learning to cook. You start with eggs and rice before trying lobster souffle.
I like that example. And here's something else. Try connecting new English words to your first language.
Yes. If your language has a similar sounding word, that's a shortcut. Or if it has a totally different word, you can create a fun mental image linking them.
When I learned the French word chien for dog, I imagined a dog sitting on a chair. Chien chair. Silly, but I never forgot it.
Silly works. In fact, silly is memorable. That's why children remember new words so quickly. They make them playful.
Which brings us to another tip: use songs. Music has rhythm, repetition, and emotion, all of which help your memory.
Oh yes, I still remember random English phrases from songs I heard as a teenager. The melody glued them into my brain.
So if you're trying to remember, don't give up. Listen to a song with that line and sing it daily.
And don't be shy to exaggerate the pronunciation when you're learning. Stretch the sounds, even if you sound dramatic. It helps you internalize them.
Speaking of drama, acting out the meaning is another trick. If you learn to stumble, pretend you're stumbling. Physical movement reinforces memory.
That's so powerful. It's why we remember things better when we actually do them, not just read them.
And here's something I think a lot of learners will love. Learn in small doses. Don't overwhelm yourself with 20 new words in one day.
Right. 3 to 5 words a day is plenty, as long as you truly use them. Remember, quality over quantity.
Plus, when you succeed with a small number, you build confidence, which makes you want to learn more.
And that's how you keep going without burning out.
So if you're listening to this right now, pick just 3 new words today, find a way to use them in a real sentence, and repeat that tomorrow.
Exactly. You'll be shocked at how much more vocabulary sticks when you stop forcing it and start living it.
That's the heart of today's episode. Don't study English words like they're just items on a checklist. Let them become part of your everyday life.
And before we sign off, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to learn English naturally, and share it with a friend who's tired of forgetting English words.
Thanks for joining us. Remember, the best way to learn is to make it natural. See you next time, everyone.